What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? A little small warning. If you hate cringe and everything else and don't like to see some things that can make you cringe, or should I say, if you just hate cringe in general, try not to watch this video. But if anything else, I am here to give you guys my Promare recap and thoughts. Major spoilers ahead for all of you who has not watched the movie. That much I can tell you. You know, before I get into my recap or something, spoilers as I said, as a warning, I heard about this movie when it got released many months ago, and then I hear it's gonna get released again this month, and today is one of those dates. I'm thinking in my mind, oh, let's go watch this movie because somehow if it gotten that much popularity to come back, why not give it a shot? So I did give it a shot, and oh my gosh, crazy entertainment. Even though the story is somewhat like a meh and predictable in a certain way depending how you look at it, but the excitement, the art, animation, woo, woo, yeah. Literally, that is my last anime movie of 2019. If you guys been keeping up with my anime list, which I have in the description below, I've always been updating on what I've been watching and, everything else all together. Damn, dude! I think I am very happy to actually have this movie as my final one of 2019. Whoever thought finishing this year, 2019, with certain anime movies this year would be that crazy. If anything else, let's just get this started. We have to it that, at the beginning of the movie, I don't know why I'm about to say episode, that was just so bad of me. We have to it that Gallo himself wanted to be part of a fire force team that takes on fires or burnish people, etc., As you can see, if you guys been always reading certain synopses or you've done your research on this movie, you understand that there are these people called burnish people, which they apparently have these abilities involving flames that could burn for a long time. And of course, there would be a terrorist group that would be a burnish terrorist group. But apparently, of course, as time continues on, there's more to it than what is to see, Of course, Gala would be part of a fire force group that would include Lucia, which is like some kind of crazy mad scientist, Aina, which apparently is like some strange girl whatsoever, and of course we get to see many other characters involved with this one, such as Vinny, and then Raimi, etc. Many characters in here. Even we get to see some nasty ones too. Especially we see Ex Ignis or something, which is the captain of a certain fire force group that Gallo is a part of. And as the movie continues on, there will be an opening scene, but not before we get to see that kind of opening scene to another opening scene. And I know you guys might be saying okay, hold up, you're losing me right here. What are you talking about? Let's just say there was a short clip, maybe about 2 to 5 minutes or so about Gallo, and then eventually we go further into the future or something, a little maybe small time skip, and we see Gallo in action with his crew, And of course, later on, the Burnish terrorist group will later on make their move again, which apparently consists of someone called Leo, which his name would later on be revealed later when Gallo takes him on, when he takes out 2 of his subordinates or arrests them in freezing temperatures of ice, And eventually, that guy, Leo, would actually be the one involved in this terrorist group, Leo Fortia, and etc. Of course, Gallo will be rewarded for his heroism or heroic duties, and eventually, of course, when it comes to burnished people in this movie right here, they are facing some kind of discrimination, I guess. I mean, the way how the movie went about is those who are burnished people are going to be arrested on the spot, and those who be hiding them, even though if they knew or not or something, they'll be arrested too. So it looks like to me they are more likely hated maybe because of what they did in human history on Earth, of burning things up, destroying things, but when it comes to the Burnish terrorist group or something, which I'll get to just a moment, Leo Fatio or something, he will later on actually be caught on purpose in prison, and he knows how to break out of these ice freezing cuffs whatsoever that will stop your powers flaming their Burnish powers, you know. But eventually, he will later on set free everyone who was in the prison and later on make their escape. Of course, there will be somewhat of a nasty soldier to go after them later. And of course, we get to see to it that there's another character called Vulcan whatsoever. He apparently is some kind of rough raft individual or rugrat or something. I don't know what to call him, but aside from that, when Gallo sees Vulcan doing something to some Burnish guy, especially when whatchamacallit, one of our girls, Aina, she apparently doesn't like the idea of what they're doing right now, and I agree to that. Although because of certain laws here and there, they end up having to no choice but to stand with them. Eventually, when it comes to Gallo having to cool off because of what Vulcan did throughout at the beginning of the episode, he will later on go to a certain lake where Aina would end up following him in case if he does anything stupid or troublesome, But as the movie continues on, we see to it that Gallo will find a group of Burnish people and later on be knocked out, and sees to it that they're just regular humans or people just like any other human beings on Earth, We see to it that Leo gives out a certain truth to Gallo, saying that you guys have been experimenting on our own kind, throughout your own needs, and you cause a lot of pain to them. That's the reason why this girl I was trying to save ends up dying because of you. And of course, we get to see Leo try to save this girl who was terribly injured when she was in prison or something, whatever the case may be. But because of that, after she died, her body turns to ash, and it's really the fate of all people who are Burnish or who has these fire powers. Eventually, you grow weak, etc., and you burn away in ash, etc. And eventually, Leo ends up giving his medal back, which he was rewarded at the beginning of the episode for his heroic duties, and gives it back to Forsyth Cray whatsoever. But apparently, we see to it that Gallo does question Frey or Cray's maybe experiments on Burnish people. Is he really experimenting on Burnish people and killing them? Therefore, Craig decides to show him about a project that he's been hiding for a long time, and it's really, really ugly too, because what he showed to Gallo or something is that he's been using Burnish people as some kind of fuel to start some kind of ship to get us somewhere to safety, to another planet that we could migrate or to live on, because Earth is going to be destroyed in about half a year or 6 months in correct detail. And as the movie continues on, Gallo gets really shocked to see how he's sacrificing Burnish people just to make some kind of workday to go to a certain planet. That's really messed up, and of course, because Gallo knows this secret project and it can only fit 10,000 people too. That's another thing I want to get. That's another thing as well. But apparently, because Gallo knows his secret, and knowing that he can't allow him to rat him out, he decides to put him in prison and say that he's a traitor and he actually attacked the governor, etc. And later on, he calls Gallo a freaking eyesore, As for Leo, he apparently the Burnish people ends up getting caught by Vulcan, his high elite team or something, which apparently they capture almost all the Burnish people. As for Leo, he ends up coming in along with two of his henchmen, which is Guerrilla or something, and someone else involved, which I don't really remember. Forgive me on that. But all I know is Leo gets shot by a certain bullet that could actually be life-threatening, because anytime he tries to use his flames, it will actually damage him and his body to critical, or should I say it's life-threatening. But his subordinates his two subordinates who was with his side, they decide to launch Leo at the volcano so they could keep him safe and say, as long as you're alive, you will be able to carry out the hope for us Burnish people. Eventually, we see to it that Gallo, on the other hand, still in prison and etc. He ends up having a small talk with Ina's sister, which her name is like Harris whatsoever. And he asks her a couple questions about this project, and she says she's doing it for her sister and for her survival. No matter what she has to pay or what's the price, she's willing to at least do it for her sister alone. Which shows a lot of love, but pretty bad in a certain way if you look at it. But we see to it that Leo, even though he was shot with a certain ice bullet that seems very fatal or something, he ends up breaking it after he was landed in the volcano by the sacrifice of his two subordinates. And of course, more the burnished flames would later on come to him to get him out of that situation, increase his power, and he will later on cause havoc, chaos, and destruction on the city. And this becomes very bad for Frey or Cray himself, because right now, knowing that the destruction of Earth is coming more imminent, we see to it that Leo's causing destruction and says, you better release my burnished people right now or I'll freaking destroy everything in this city. Eventually, Gallo would later on be rescued or something by his fire team, you know? And they end up having to work together to try to put out the flames as best they can, and eventually Gallo will be the one to actually get Leo out of his senses, saying that, what about your ideals of not harming innocent people? I mean, don't you guys live by a code where we don't kill unless there's a reason to? And this actually snaps Leo back out a bit after what's been going on here and there, you know? And of course, they end up landing at that frozen lake that Gallo will always go to when he's always angry or to cool off. And there's some strange scientist whatsoever, which apparently reveals that Frey is the one that killed him, stole his project, and he doesn't understand that if he extinguished all the burnished people's powers, planet Earth will explode or be destroyed overall. He ends up explaining the history of how these powers come in contact with from another parallel universe or parallel dimension. Somehow something happened that causes them to fuse and clash with each other, and things kind of gotten out of control. And that's when the professor did his research, but because he was killed by Frey or something, or Cray or something, he still managed to survive by uploading part of his consciousness into cyberspace whatsoever. And he ends up telling Leo and Gallo to work together to stop Cray's crazy goal to escape Earth, because he's going to destroy it, etc. As the movie continues on, of course, Ina came in to help out Gallo and Leo, when they were fighting each other. Obviously. Nice waifu character, by the way. Okay, enough of me being off topic, etc. Continuing on. We see to it that, as the movie continues on, we see to it that Leo and Gallo end up working together to take on Cray, And eventually, they do struggle against him, but eventually they will come to a stalemate with both the robotic machines whatsoever, because Cray, his tower that he was always living in, or something like that, he ends up actually had it as a robot and clashes against Leo and Gallo, Eventually they do come to a stalemate, and we see to it that Leo, after seeing Cray doing a lot of damage here and there, not to mention Ina's sister Harris whatsoever, she on the other hand, after realizing what Cray is and knowing that she can't save her sister, she decides to overload the warping area of the burnished people's powers and destroy the warping gate. But eventually Leo ends up clashing against Cray, which we later on find out that he's also a burnished too. He's the one that actually caused the fire of Gallo himself of his past long ago, and he only saved him because he used him as recognition to move up his power just to start this project whatsoever. So pretty much Cray was actually the villain and not the Burnisher terrorist group, because they were trying to help their own people out and try to live out their own lives in a certain way. And Cray was the one using the Burnished people's powers to do a warp gate and transport to a different planet with 10,000 people chosen, And as the episode continues on, movie continues on, we see to it that Gallo tries to help Leo out, but gets blasted by a bunch of flames by Gray himself, who's a burnish, But you know, Leo, who ends up using his flames to protect Gallo, ends up protecting Gallo. Gallo managed to survive, gets rescued by his fire team, and he ends up going to another mechanic machine to like go save Leo, you know, which apparently Gray or Frey, whatever his name is, Cray, to like Cray's pretty much trying to use Leo as a substitute for the warping gate. So he ends up sacrificing as many burnished people to him, and he will later on use him as a life force to like whatchamacallit, to do that warping gate. But Gallo comes in right in the nick of time and clashes against Cray, which apparently Cray tries to burn him away, but Leo's frames protected him once more, and he just knocks him out with a couple punches, you know. He tries to save Leo because he's disintegrating, but he will later on use the flame that Leo gave him, like he did it mouth to mouth, and guarantee I'm not playing, the entire audience, especially myself, cheered and clapped with our hands so badly. Tell me about it, right? Very bad cringe. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, I know. But eventually that does save Leo, you know, from disintegrating. Eventually, Leo and Gallo decides to combine their spirit and powers once more with their machine, along with the core that was supposed to be used for the warping gate to stop the combustion or flames on Earth, you know? And that's when that song, Inferno, from Hiroyuki Sawano, which, again, he freaking took the cake in this movie, and the music in this movie, oh my gosh, dude. They managed to stop the flames from destroying Earth after going with the machine that the doctor gave them. Forgot to mention that. Please forgive me. But eventually, because of what they did right now, the burnished flames that was a part of Earth, they end up leaving Earth after what just happened, and they end up going back to their own dimensional parallel world whatsoever. Eventually, Gallo ends up asking like Leo for help and get his comrades to help us out because we gotta fix this place up, you know? It's a new age and beginning for this city. And Leo's like, you do understand what the hell happened here, right? And Gal's like, yeah, I know, but we're gonna ask him for help anyway. And freaking Promare's like, and I mean Leo's like, man. And as everyone tells Gallo every single time in this movie, you're an idiot. You hear me? And he even agrees. He goes like, yep, I'm the #1 universal firefighting idiot. And the movie ends off there, and the theme song plays, and I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, that was just crazy cool. Yeah, I gotta say, like, this movie right here was actually really fun. I can't believe, like, when I heard news that it was gonna come back because the fans wanted it, I'm thinking in my mind, what makes this movie really, like, crazy in the first place? I'm thinking in my mind, let's go watch it, you know? And I'm glad I did watch it. The music from the art, animation, action, you know, all together, even though the story has its predictability, along with, like, certain plot armor, etc. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys could say that, no matter what. It was really fun. I mean, like, to think Promare came back, like, a second time in the movie theaters for a limited time too. I'm like, wow, dude, that's really crazy. I gotta give props for them for actually doing that, you know? But yeah, glad I actually watched Promare this year, 2019. I mean, like, out of all the anime movies I watched in 2019, this one really took a lot of cake out of me through the music, art, action, animation, you know? I'm like, wow, dude. That's really crazy. Especially Hiroyuki Sawano doing the music. I mean, you guys have to know what Hiroyuki Sawano did, man. I mean, his music is top-notch and very addictive. Even, like, when I watched that Redux interview or something, they end up saying, like, Hiroyuki Sawano knows how to make music that he knows what you want or something. I'm like, yeah, he does know what you want, and boom, dude. Seriously. Oh, man. I think my voice is literally giving out right now. I mean, I've been talking for so long, and the music, oh man, that theme song is in my head. I can't stop listening to it. I'm pretty sure you guys can't too. Oh man. Okay, my final thoughts, like I said, really crazy movie. Glad I watched it. And yeah, out of all the anime movies I watched in the year 2019, this one really took the cake for me. So until then, people, that's about it. Those guys who watched the recap to the very end, even though, like, I might be very vaguely detailed here and there, Thank you so much. And I already warned you guys, spoilers and some cringe along the way. I'm like, wow, dude, etc. Alright, that's about it, people. I gotta stop here. Go take a break. Go get a wash up, etc. And be prepared for future videos and for the rest of the month and the rest of the year, because we're coming to an end. So until then, people, I'll see you guys in my next video. I'm Alphazetto. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot toot.